Hi all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Today we will be talking with Jacqui, an NLP practitioner, trainer and facilitator. We'll be talking about NLP, what is NLP, why do it, and how it can change your life for the better. So I'm really excited to get started. Just before we do start, I have a few housekeeping notes. Just to let you know that you are all muted on our end, so if you do talk, we won't be hearing you. If you're experiencing anything through the speaker, you can click on the audio button underneath Jacqui's picture, and you do have the option to dial in, and it'll prompt you on how to do so. You should also see a chat bar on your screen at the bottom.
Disk not ejected properly.
Just type in your question, and at the end of the seminar, we'll allocate 10 minutes for a Q&A. In addition, if you do have any amazing insights during the webinar, and we're expecting that you'll have at least one or two, we will share them at the end of the program if you just type them in. Great. All right, I'll pass you on to Jacqui.
Okay. Thanks, Kim. Thanks for that. Welcome, everyone. It's really great to be here and to be able to share some of what I know, and I hopefully will make a big difference in your life. I know it's made a big difference in mine. So this is just a brief webinar, and my hope is not only to provide you with some information about NLP, but also to provide you and give you some things that you can take away and share immediately in your life to enhance your life and the choices you have. So hopefully there's a few techniques there and a few insights that you'll be able to take away. So my journey with NLP started over 20 years ago. And I've used NLP in every area of my life, from the business development that I've been involved with, consulting, change projects, HR, training, recruitment, coaching, cultural change, strategic planning, fundamentally, but in every endeavour I've been involved with, I've used some aspect of NLP. And also, very importantly, I've used it to enhance and change my personal life as well. And I think that's a real big area of growth for, it has been for me, and I'm sure it will be for you. A wise man says, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And if you want to change, if you want something different, you've got to really do something different. And the thing with NLP is it actually showed me how. So I come from a background which was very strict and controlling upbringing. My parents did the best they knew how, but I found myself at a young age being a single mum with 3 young children under the age of 6, and I was struggling to cope mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, really all around. It was a very difficult time in my life. And I was looking and searching for something that would help me change, help me do something, learn. I was just really looking for help. So at that time in my life, I was fortunate enough to attend a training actually by Anthony Robbins. And that was an eye-opener for me. It was like day and night from before and after. I went on from there to learn a lot more about NLP and how I can use it to take control of my life. I went back to uni and studied. I began consulting. I have had a great career so far, and it continues to grow. I've always had promotions, and was headhunted for one of my roles recently that I performed. My income has doubled and tripled. Relationships are really good in that space for me. I've got a loving partner and great kids, and really good relationships with my kids as well. And it's really helped create momentum and change and growth. And that's what I really want for you all who are listening here, is to have that in your life as well. Have your dreams come true and have all the success that I know you deserve to have. So what I want to explain to you briefly what NLP is and what it actually means. I know a lot of people are sort of challenged by the technicality of the words neuro-linguistic programming. But in essence, if you break it down, it can be quite easy or easier to understand. So the neuro part, or the N part, the neuro, refers to the brain and the mind, and it refers to all aspects of our nervous system, you know, so the brain, the spinal cord, the nerves, right down to the nerve endings. And it also refers to your mind and what you see and what you think and feel. The linguistic part refers to the language we use to relate and communicate with other people. More than that, though, it's not just the verbal language you use, it's also the non-verbals. You know, we might, sometimes people call it body language, but it's all the non-verbal part of communication. Could be your eye movements, your gestures, all of those also come under the linguistic umbrella. And then the third part is programming, and the programming part, that, you know, I mean, the word is a little bit unfortunate, but it was one of the words one of the co-founders of NLP actually decided to call it, and probably because Richard Bandler himself was a mathematician and quite involved with computers at the time. So programming really refers to the patterns of behaviour that we use, that we use day in, day out. So it could be a pattern that you have around how you motivate yourself, or how you get up in the morning, how you fall in love. It could be to do with a pattern or a recipe of, even, for example, how you might create a painting or do a project. Or it's like, what patterns do you use day in, day out? And often they're very unconscious. We don't know what we do a lot of the time. We have some idea, but not to the depth that NLP helps you identify and understand. So a good way of looking at programming is, what are the recipes that we use in our life to run our life and to do things? So if you, for example, want to make an omelette, you might think, if I have a real good recipe for making omelettes, and you might put ham and tomato and cheese in there, and it may not taste so good, and then think, oh, well, I might change that recipe. And so with a good recipe, you might use it over and over. And with a recipe that doesn't work, you might, give Jamie Oliver a call and say, hey, mate, what do I do in this instance? How can I make this recipe a little bit better? So we might ask others about different patterns that they use, different recipes, and install those or use those in our life to make those better. A strategy, this is one of the beautiful things about NLP. When you know your strategy about how you do something really well, you can actually take that and apply that in other areas of your life where you may not know how to do that. And that's one of the things that NLP helps you do. So NLP is a great toolbox. One of the things or definitions is that it's a great toolbox for understanding how the language of the mind creates and affects the patterns we use in our daily life. It's like a user's manual for the brain. So God wasn't so cruel that he didn't give the knowledge about how to work out what we do and how we do it day in, day out. So what I would love to do at the moment is talk to you a little bit about some of the models that we use in NLP and how we apply those. I think this is something you might be able to take away and almost use straight away. So what we have on the screen now is what's commonly called the NLP communication model. And really it describes how we as human beings relate to the world around us. And if you see there on the right-hand side, there is, we'll start with the right and just move around it very quickly. And you've got to take this a little bit also with the viewpoint that's a very high-level model. And there's a lot of depth to it, but I'm only got a few minutes to share some insight about this model with you. So in essence, what you do is you have an external event that goes on in your life, and it could be any external event. It could be, driving to work, for example. And then what you do is you take in information from your environment through your 5 senses, and we're all familiar with those, I'm sure. So that's the first level of filtering information. So we actually filter as human beings. There's millions of bits of information going on around us all the time. And if our nervous system was open to all of that, it would literally, scientists say, that it was open to all of that, it would drive us insane. So our filters actually, on some level, protect us and enable us to process what's going on around us. So the first level of filtering are the 5 senses that you see there. And then we have internal filters operating in our mind. And those internal filters, they determine what we pay attention to from that incoming information and how we pay attention to it. So those filters that are operating inside our mind all the time, there's just some of them listed there. So there's time, space, matter, energy, language, decisions, memories, metaprograms, values, beliefs, and attitudes. Now, these are filters that in our certification programs we go into in a lot of detail, which we don't have time to do now. But just to give you an example, if you had a belief in, that you grew up with or you acquired through any sort of experience. So, for example, you had a belief that, let me see, what's a good belief? So if you had a belief that money was the root of all evil, for example, then that belief influences what you see in the world, pardon me, and what you pay attention to. So very likely some of the behaviours you might produce is an avoidance of anything to do with money or even acquiring money. So that belief actually filters what you pay attention to. If we keep going across, looking at the filters, once you filter all the information that comes in, you delete information, you pay some attention to some information and not others, you distort it, so you might change the meaning of what you see, and you generalize, and that is where you have an experience and you generalize that rule or that application to other areas in your life. And as a result of all these filters, what you do is you create a thought or a representation in your mind of that event. So you might create a picture of that in your mind, and the filter, the representation is also made up of thoughts, feelings, sight and sound. So for example, if I asked you to think of a cup of coffee, what you might do is you might, if you think of coffee now, you might actually see a really nice coffee mug, or you might see the coffee beans and have a look at those. Or what might come to mind straight away is the sound of a coffee machine and the hissing of the coffee machine and the extraction as it's pouring into the coffee cup. I come from a family of coffee freaks, so I know a little bit about coffee. Or it might have, you might have a great feeling about how the coffee makes you feel. You might, your thought around coffee, you might even smell the aroma of the coffee beans and the coffee, or even have a sense of taste. So really you code that experience in your mind, and you do that with your internal representations. And what you think about it influences how you feel, which is your state and your emotion and your mood. So if we're going with the coffee example, you might have a really good feeling or a really relaxed feeling just simply thinking about coffee might give you a sense of, oh, that sounds really nice. I wouldn't mind a cup of coffee right now. And that then influences your physiology and how you hold your body and how you behave. And again, if you go across, that influences your behaviour. As we said, you might run out now and go buy a cup of coffee, just thinking about it, and the language that you use. So this really is how we communicate and relate to a lot of people in the world through this communication model. So what we'll do is have just a quick look about how this communication model is applied or can be applied in practice. So for example, if you look at your state, if you look at your state, if you're thinking and feeling in a very poor state, you're feeling like you're lacking confidence, you might want to know how can you change your state very quickly. And you can change your state very quickly by simply changing your physiology. So for example, if you think about something a bit sad or a bit upsetting for just a moment, you might notice that what that's like for you is you might be just holding your body a little bit down, your eyes might be looking a little bit down, and your breathing might be a little bit high, a little bit low in your body. And then what I'd like you to do is just notice what it's like, what you're experiencing in your mind and in your body, is you're just thinking of something a little bit sad for just a moment, and notice where your eyes go and what that's like. And then now what I'd like to do is just go ahead and sit up straight. Hold your head high and look up, and then think the same thing. And then just notice where is that thought that you had? You might find that it's gone, or it's more neutral. Sometimes people say, oh, it doesn't affect me anymore. But it can be as simple as that. Changing your state changes your body, and that changes how you also behave. So what that does is it actually gives you control, and that's a really important thing. So having that control and that lead to be able to be how you want to be in any particular situation. So for example, you're going into an interview, a job interview, and you really want to feel very confident and you want to feel strong, and for some reason you may not, before you go in, feel that way. And then if you simply change your physiology, change your breathing, and change how you're standing and walking in, and if you walk tall, my mum used to say, walk tall, look the man right in the eye, and that's a song as well, I think. And so that will make all the difference to your level of confidence as you go into that interview, and increase your chances of success. And so one of the things with learning about NLP and learning how this all works is that it gives you a lot of voice, and it helps you create how you want to be in the world, so that you don't have to be in effect of particular situations. So NLP gives you choice. What we do in the certification programs and even in the foundation program, we learn about some of these filters, and we learn about our own filters and how you can actually take control and change those things if something's not working, how you can enhance what you already have that is working, because I'm sure there's a lot of good stuff going on there as well, and how you can create new things if you need to in your life, just to get exactly what you want and what you want to create in your life. So I love Charles Schulz, I love Charlie Brown, and this is a great little cartoon that sort of summarizes it a little, but it's a very basic thing about understanding about state management, and that's one of the things you'll absolutely learn in our programs. Okay, so one of the other areas that I really would love to share with you is the NLP formula for success. And this is an NLP model for change and for success, and it's a key piece in NLP, and we focus quite a lot on it in everything we do, and I thought it would be a good thing to share with you so that you get a brief understanding of some of the processes that are in play and that are in operation, and that what we work about, or what we work with rather. So this process is basically used in everything that we do. So it's a great planning process. It's a great tool to give you structure for how you want to approach basically anything you want to do in your life. So if you want to build a successful business, or you've got a project you want to run, or you want to build a better relationship or your spouse, or to create a presentation, for a client or a customer, how do you make sure that you get the best outcome possible? And this is a really good structure and process to help you plan that. So in essence, what you do is you really need to identify the present state. Where are you right now? So a lot of people are very good at telling you exactly where they don't want to be. So I don't want to be tired, I don't want to be busy, I don't want to be unbalanced, I don't want to be lacking in energy, I don't want to be sad. But there's a known, well, I don't know if you've heard it, but there's a saying that goes, energy flows where the attention goes. So if you say to your unconscious mind, I don't want to be tired, then if you think back to our model before, our NLP communication model, if you say you don't want to be tired, then communication model. So if I say I don't want to be tired, then that is exactly what you will filter for, being tired. And that's what you will eventually create through this whole feedback system loop here. You will actually create situations where you will be feeling tired. Our mind, or our unconscious mind, can't process negative. So what you focus on is what you get. So if I say you don't think of a pink elephant, chances are that's exactly what you thought of, a pink elephant. So really knowing what your present state is, knowing what you do want, is really critical. And one way of getting to that present state is just flipping that question on its side, and it's just saying, if I wasn't tired, what would I be instead? And that helps you get to the positive present or desired state, which is on the other side of what you want to create in your life. So knowing what you want is really critical. Knowing where you're starting is really important as well. So what would I rather be over here? And it might be confident, and it might be energetic and vibrant and calm and patient, or it might be any of those different different states that you want. So know your present state. Where am I right now? And that takes a bit of getting know to, and sometimes acceptance as well. And then that helps you really plan what your desired state to be, and that's really important. So step 1, present state. Step 2, desired state. Step 3 is looking at this area here. What is stopping you from actually getting what you want to have in your life, or creating what you want to have in your life? And this is a really important space here, because sometimes we operate a lot of unconsciously. So we have patterns or habits that aren't supporting us. Sometimes, for example, being in the fridge before you know you're in the fridge, the only time you pick up that cake is in your mouth, and that's something that I've had in the past as well, and sometimes I'm struggling with. Is that having those patterns and habits and behaviours and really clearing those. So NLP helps you and gives you the tools to clear those behaviours and beliefs that may not support you. So a belief I used to have, for example, is I don't deserve to be happy. And I remember that quite well. And I worked on that using NLP and various other modalities to help resolve that and create a belief where I know that I do deserve to be happy, and consequently I've created in my life loving relationships and many other opportunities as well. So NLP gives you the skills to clear those interferences. And then step 4 is building those and accessing resources to help you get from your present state to your desired state. So, looking at what skills do you need to learn, for example. You might have a great skill in a particular area, and then NLP will teach you how to transfer that to another area. So a skill might be, say for example, a salesperson finds it really challenging to pick up a phone and call a client because they might have a fear of rejection or a fear of failure or something like that. But they have no problems picking up the phone and calling their friends. So they have this skill there, they're just not, or don't know yet how to apply it in a different context. And NLP will help them learn what they do in that context with a friend, and be able to transfer those skills, those behaviours, the positive thoughts and attitudes and so on into that other context, so that they can become more generative with those skills and apply it in an area where they do. So, for example, in their role as a salesperson, it's really important to speak to your customers. So that's just a formula for success. This is a brilliant formula you can use for coaching people and coaching yourself, and certainly goes a long way to helping you with what you want to do in your life. So just moving on, I'm just aware of time a little bit and want to make sure that I cover some things, some other things for you. And at the end, as Kim said, we've got some opportunities for some questions and some uses of NLP. So primarily, NLP really is about personal development and growth. It's really about getting to know and understand how you have created and are creating and continue to create your life the way you want it to be. It gives you amazing tools to understand all the building blocks and to be able to rearrange those building blocks in ways that will help you achieve what you want to have in your life, whether it's in health, in wealth building, in any area. And I think one of the critical things with business or personal development rather being a fundamental key piece of NLP is that if you don't know where you are, who you are as a person, then it's going to be quite a challenge to really understand and relate to other people, because you need to be able to meet people where they're at least understand where they're at, to be able to influence them and change them. So primarily, you need to know yourself, as the Oracle of Delphi says, know thyself and to thine own self be true. So NLP really gives you the tools to be able to do that. And then applications in business are just enormous. One of the things that NLP helps you understand is not everybody really speaks the same language, even when you're speaking the same language, and we all speak English, but we're not always saying the same thing and understanding each other in the same way. So really critical in business is to know your market, know your customer, so that you can really focus in and target your value proposition to their needs. And if you don't know them, if you can't ask them the clean questions, the good questions that will help you get that information, well, your customer's going to go somewhere else. And that's been proven time and time again. So NLP is fundamental in helping you understand your market, understand your customer, and really know how to focus in and target what you do to be able to deliver on time, to be able to deliver exactly what their needs are, and help you manage that communication process to the nth degree. It's great for time management, for sales, helping you understand what's overcoming obstacles, like what are the obstacles that are stopping you from relating to people? What are the obstacles from stopping you opening your own business? Is there a belief there that says, I'm not good enough, or I don't know how to do it? And so NLP will help you find those tools to overcome those obstacles. And very critically, one of the fundamental aspects of NLP is knowing how to model others. Meaning, if you know someone out there who's doing something really, really, really good, then don't be ashamed to go out there and just steal the idea and you copy what they're doing. NLP was founded on the whole concept of modeling people who are really excellent at what they do. And so if you want really great financial advice, well, you don't go to your plumber and necessarily ask the plumber for financial advice, unless the plumber is has great financial acumen. But ordinarily, you'd really go to someone who is a specialist in financial planning or management, and someone who's really good at it as well, because you've got to be careful. There are people out there who say they are, but the proof is in the pudding and in the results that they produce, and those are the people that you duplicate and copy. And NLP gives you the skills to work out what is it that they're doing really well, and the skill and the ability and the belief, so that you can apply it in your own business. So applications in business are enormous, and just far too many to mention here. Coaching is the third area, And really, if you're a parent, if you're a brother, a sister, a daughter, a mother, a friend, a coach, a leader a community leader, a leader in an organization, whether you're a mentor or a guide, a therapist, consultant, whatever, you are always dealing with other people and in a position where you can coach and influence them. So you learn these skills in NLP because you learn to coach yourself, and through learning to coach yourself, you learn how to influence and help others as well. And besides, it's not much fun if everything's going well for you and not the people around you. You want to be able to share what we do with others and help them make a difference in their lives as well, and overcome the obstacles in their lives as well. And with NLP, it's very much about working with people. It's not about you fixing other people. It's working with others to help them realise the greatness that's inside of them as well. So we're nearly coming to the end of our time together. And I have just a couple more slides to go through with you, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A. So this next slide really is about some of the programs that I'm offering at the moment, or that I'm delivering. And the first one is just a simple 2-day program, and it's focused on NLP fundamentals, and we've called it NLP at Work, Home and Play. And in this program, it's an amazing program, and you will come away with so many things that you'll just be working on integrating those into your life for a very, very long time. So we work on fundamentals, really understanding how we communicate and relate, how to build rapport and trust, how we can create and manage our state really effectively, and to give us a lot of choice in your life and in how you operate. And you'd be crazy not to attend. So I really hope to see you there. The Melbourne dates, they're November 21st and 28th, and there are some other dates available on the website. We made it out of the investment is quite a reasonable amount, based on the fact that I would really love to see a lot of people there. I think one of my visions for this whole process, and why I really am doing this now too, is I've reached a point in my life where I really want to be able to share and give back and help others achieve some of the success that I had in my life, and make a difference in theirs. So the other program we're running is the NLP Practitioner Certification Program, and that's 7 days. And that's running 2 stages. So we've got 2 lots. The first lot is from May 5th to 8th, and that's 4 days, 4 consecutive days. And the second from the 27th to the 29th, and that is 3 consecutive days. And that is a certification program. Now, you don't necessarily do a certification program because maybe you want to go out there and become an actual practitioner in a sense, but it's a huge, it just makes a huge difference in your life doing an actual certification. It just takes everything to the next level in your life in every area. Whether you decide to practice as a practitioner or not, really, that's almost beside the point. This program is normally attended by all sorts of people in HR, in business, teachers, educators. I've had people attend the program who are in the education system and they go on to use it to make amazing change in their area, in their schools and so on. And others who have really attended the certification program and turned their life around. One of my previous students has, since the first program that he attended, has since written over 15 books and is an international speaker and consultant in his own right. So it's made a huge difference to his life, and I'm sure it would make a huge difference to yours as well. You'll see there listed some of the other things we have available, and there's the practitioner, the master practitioner, and the trainer certification program. I do offer coaching sessions, which are one-on-one sessions, and my approach is very person-centered and guided by definitely by the people I'm working with. And also my experience in business has enabled me to create some great business solutions for some organisations, again, that want to take their business to another level. So I really hope to see you at the training programs, and I think it will make all the difference to you. And as I said, as I started, if you do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And if you want something different, well, you've got to do something different, and this is it. So there are some contact details down there. The landing page for the program, contact information for myself or Kim, who very kindly has helped me put all of this process together to share with you. So really want to thank Kim for the work that she's done as well. And you can check out her website. She does some amazing stuff in marketing.
Thanks, Jacqui.
And like us on Facebook if you like, if you want to stay in touch with what's going on and stay connected. Like us on Facebook, we'll post a lot of our information there. This webinar, which is a free webinar for a lot of people, will also be recorded and placed on my website and on YouTube as well, and check out some other things on YouTube as well. So I'll hand over to Kim. I think we've got some questions going. So
So does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask Jacqui before we go tonight? Maybe something about how NLP might be able to help you, anything specific that you can think of?
So we've got some nice comments from people saying how they would use this in every area of your life. Yeah, I agree. You can use it in every area of your life. How can I use NLP to get a partner? Well, I think Anthony Robbins puts it fantastic, and he says if you want to get a partner, you need to become the person that you want to be in relationship with. So, one of the things we'll be looking at understanding where you are. If we go back to that model of success, is really understanding what is your present state. Where are you now? What are you doing or thinking, feeling, how are you behaving? And then looking at what it is you do want to have and defining that quite clearly. Really getting to understand what are the things that are stopping you from getting there. It might be a belief that maybe you're not sexy enough, or you're not cute enough, or you're not good enough, or maybe you don't even deserve to have a great partner in your life. Anyway, it could be any of those things. And so what we'll do is we'll sit down. If it's a coaching session, I'll sit down and work through with you. But if it's in the NLP certification program, or even the 2-day program focused on fundamentals, you'll get to get a good idea of how you are thinking and what you want to do, how you're thinking, what are the obstacles you might be creating, what are some of the resources you need to actually get a process to do that, a well-formed conditions for creating outcomes that helps you walk through all of that and help you know. So thanks for that question. That was a really good question. Careers? Okay, so how would you use NLP to get ahead in my career path? Okay, and how can I use NLP to get noticed at work? So if we're looking at how do I use NLP to get noticed at work, one of the fundamental things about getting noticed is building relationships and having really great rapport with people that you're working with, and that's really important. And rapport is something which, sometimes people talk about, you read books about, building rapport is so important, but very, very frequently those books don't actually give you the specific techniques that you would need to actually use. So rapport really is a science, and there are specific techniques and practices that you can actually do and learn, which will help you build deep rapport with people and help you relate and communicate more effectively to them. And so hopefully you can come along to particularly the first program, which is the fundamentals, where we focus quite a lot on rapport. You know, people who are like each other, and we look at what it is that, again, might stop you from doing that, and give you some skills and teach you some things about how you can build great rapport with others. And do we have time for we've got time for another question, don't we? Okay, how do you have plans to run another webinar for friends I want to share this with? Absolutely, I have plans to run a few of these webinars. I think it's a great way to spend a brief amount of time sharing some stuff with people and some important information. So I'd love to be able to do that, and we'll continue to do so for a while. So please like us on Facebook so we can send you that information about our future webinars and so on. Okay, and the other one was how can I use NLP to get ahead in my career path? Well, and to get more motivated. Yes, both. So the first one, I'll have a look at how can I use NLP to get ahead in my career path. You know, career is a really interesting thing. I think knowing what you want is really important, and getting very clear on what you do want to have in your life and what's important to you. One of the things we look at in NLP is really understanding what is valuable and what is important to you. And often we're not very clear on what our values are, and when you're not clear on what your values are, you can actually end up in a job or in a role that isn't in alignment with who you want to be as a person. And that's where you get cultural clashes, for example, with people working for organisations that don't align with who they are or want to be. So, for example, I had an opportunity to work for, I won't name the company, but to work for a company that manufactures cigarettes. And I'm a non-smoker, and I don't believe in or want to support the industry. And so even though I was actually headhunted for that role and offered to me, I actually declined it because it doesn't align with my values around respecting my own health or the health of others and various other reasons. So really, fundamentally, knowing what your values are and what's important to you will help you a long way in understanding what career is important to you and where you really want to go. The other question, I think we've got time, is, NLP provide techniques to get more motivated. Well, it will give you techniques that you can learn so that you can become more motivated. Absolutely. So we look at areas in your life where you are motivated. So there might be something that really turns you on and gets you excited. Kim is looking at me funny, like, what is she going to say now? It could be going to a great movie, for example, where you're really excited. We were talking early on about the release of Star Wars in December, and we were both Kim and I were both very excited, being Star Wars fans. So anyway, so the idea is that, for example, there are areas of your life where you're really motivated, and sometimes it's about transferring that skill of being motivated to other areas of your life where you really want to be more motivated and want to maybe not procrastinate. It could be doing tax or something like that where you might be procrastinating. And, there's some NLP techniques, for example, around anchoring and so on, which will help you install states which will help you become motivated where in the contexts that are really important to you. And yeah, absolutely, it can help you learn to be motivated in different areas. So I think I'm getting the wind-up time. I'm getting the wind-up syndrome. So I really want to thank you guys for listening and for asking such great questions. Contact details are there if you want to follow up. I'm more than happy to hear from you and talk about various things, whatever it is that's important to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and stay in touch. We'll be connecting in the next webinar or before, I hope. Cheers, guys.